Good morning, students. Today we are going to discuss about Humayun and Akbar. Humayun could regain his power in 1555. He attacked the successors of Sher Shah Suri in Delhi, and he could defeat them and conquer Delhi and Agra. He started his administration. As he started his administration, naturally there would be effort by Sher Shah Suri's successors to defeat him and recapture the power. But he died. The death of Humayun was felt as a chance by the successors of Sher Shah Suri. The administration of Mughal Empire was taken over by an young king, a prince named Akbar. He was just 13 years of age at that time. Your age. You don't like to sit in a place and rule or look after the and participate in the serious discussions or debates and take a decision. Akbar the Great had to do it. He was supported and helped by his uncle named Behram Khan. Akbar's mother also helped him to look after the administration. So before he could establish himself, naturally an attack came on him. That is by Hemu, the military commander of Sher Shah Suri. So the conflict between Hemu and Akbar took place in the year 1556 at the famous battleground of India named Panipat. We call it the Second Battle of Panipat. And there Hemu was defeated by Akbar and his uncle Behram Khan. That has brought a strong foothold for Akbar to start the administration. After reaching the age of 18 years, he told his guide or supporter Behram Khan to leave him alone. He has decided to look after administration by himself. And he began to extend his territories to different parts of India till Deccan, in eastern side Bengal, in western side till Pakistan, that area, complete area, Afghanistan. All those areas were brought under his control. That is what Akbar has done. Then he shifted his capital from Delhi to Agra, then to Fatehpur Sikri in UP. He constructed a beautiful palace and administrative facilities and made it the capital at Fatehpur Sikri. For any administration, there should be ministers and officials. He appointed ministers. The first minister, it is called Wazir. We call modern period, we can call him as a prime minister. Then there was a Diwan, the person who was collecting the money from the people, financial responsibilities of the country. We can say finance minister. Then there is a defense minister who is responsible for administrative activities of. He is called Mir Bakshi. the defense minister. So prime minister is there under Akbar to look after overall responsibility for everything. Then there's a finance minister. Then there is a Mir Bakshi who is the responsible defense minister. Then, judges are needed. Disputes and conflicts and problems may arise. There should be a person who is authorized to take a decision. Judges were called a quasi, and judges were also appointed by Akbar to look after administrations. Then, for strengthening his administration, he divided his kingdom into subas. Modern period we call it provinces. We have divided India into different states. Same way, he divided the empire into provinces. We call it subas. And there will be in charge of the suba. He is called subedar. Subadar. Subadar. Governors we can call him in the modern period. So governors would be there who looks up the administration, who takes care of the things. Then this empire would be again subdivided into parganas. We can say districts. And districts again divided into villages. So that was the system or level of administrative divisions. Then military administration. We have divided the modern period of the army, Indian army, into different commands. Southern command, northern command, central command, western command, eastern command. Like their commands are. And at that time also, Akbar gave the responsibility to the Mansabdas. They were the rank officials. We can say lieutenant generals or generals like that. So these lieutenant generals or Mansabdas were given the permission to take the salary from the tax collected. They were not given money by the king. They were given areas of administration, Jagir. So naturally from the areas, if you see, you can see around 2-3 districts area is given to one mansab or one official. That official is permitted to collect the taxes from that area and he can use it. He is responsible to have soldiers, train the soldiers, hand horses, everybody with the money that he collects from that. So that way he strengthened his military administration also. So, and he has done one thing. Now, modern period we know when a vehicle is purchased, vehicles have got numbers. Military vehicles have special numbers. Private vehicles have other numbers. Government vehicles have, we must write on the vehicle is a government vehicle. Like that, Akbar has made a seal on the horses provided by the king. So that Mansabdas or anybody would not cheat or would not do anything wrong. They would not take the powerful horse as their personal horse and weak horse as a government horse. That they will not do it. So, branding the horses as the government horse or the king's horse was one of the steps taken by Akbar to protect the army and army products. Taxes. There was a number of years calculated and taxes were collected. 1/3 of the yield or the product of the people were to be paid to the king as tax. And officials could go and verify and collect the taxes. So that was a step taken by Akbar to collect the taxes. And revenue means the tax could be paid in cash or kind. Everybody may not be able to pay in cash. Means cash or kind means if a farmer produces 100 coconuts, so 30 or 33 coconuts should be given to the king. If the farmer is not able to sell those coconuts, he can give 33 coconuts to the king. That's a kind. Or the farmer sells the coconut and the price of the 33 coconuts would be given to the king. So it can be cash or kind. Whichever way the producer wants to give, can give to the king. So that was a tax collecting method of Akbar. You know, an administration has to cooperate with the local people. Akbar understood it is necessary to have a relationship with the local people. So the Rajabut rulers and Sikhs, members of the society, gave them high official post, treated them equal with the Muslims, and interacted with them, even married the daughters of Rajabut families, so that good relation should be created. And members of the Rajavut families were appointed in high post officials post, so that they would become in good relationship with the king. That was one of the another step taken by Akbar. These important members are, we can see, Raja Todarmal, Raja Birbal, Raja Biharimal. All these members were there in the palace of Akbar. They were given high post in the palace. And religious policy also. Akbar did not force anybody to believe in any particular religion. There was a tax named jizya, the tax that was imposed on non-Muslims in the areas of Mughal Empire, that was withdrawn. So people were left free to believe in any religion they like. That was a speciality of Akbar. He married Raja Bihari Mal of Amba's daughter, and the son born in with them, that is Jahangir, became the next emperor of Mughals. So that is Akbar the Great, we must understand. His contribution of Din Ilahi, the religion as such, is important. He called the important leaders of different religions, Hindus, Christians, Muslims, Sikhs, Judaism. Like that, religious leaders were called to his palace, and there would have discussions, debates on different religious thinkings. And he took the good points of all the religions and he established a new religion named Din Ilahi. But Orthodox religious people who just want to have the old customs and traditions and practices as it is, they were not ready to accept the thinkings of Akbar. Orthodox Muslims, especially because he was a Muslim ruler, they were so much unhappy and angry with Akbar for following a free and open religious policy. But he continued. After the death of Akbar, naturally, Din Ilahi lost its importance. Nobody was there to carry on with that idea, religious idea of Akbar. 9 jewels were there in his palace. Means persons who were highly intellects. Birbal, Mian Tansen, Abul Fasal, Todarmal, and Mansingh. They were all renowned persons in their field. Musicians were there, administrators were there, ministers were there. Birbal, you might have heard a lot of stories about Birbal and Akbar. So such a kind of administrative setup was set. Why Akbar? Naturally, we call him Akbar the Great, and he is worth to be called like that. because of his administrative steps. He constructed Fatehpur Sikri and made its capital. If you go to Fatehpur Sikri, we can see Panchamahal is there. There's a 5-story building in Fatehpur Sikri. That Panchamahal, we can look from on the top of that 5-story building, and that's the top where the king sits. Along with the king, nobody is there. Only he can sit. And dance programs could be going on the downside. From the top, king could see the programs. Panchamahal doesn't mean that it's a huge, big, 5-story building. In each story, the persons can sit or stand and watch the program that is going on downside. That's Panchamahal. And beautiful structure, architecture is in Fatehpur Sikri. So that is Akbar the Great. He died in 1605. Then his son, named Jahangir, became the ruler of Delhi. That is what we learned today. Okay, thank you very much.